What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 103 of what was that? Of Sports News. That's all much news. Garrett here with my co-host.
What it do? What it do? This Jalen Prince. Yeah.
What was that thing you just did?
What doing this?
Oh, I saw it out of the corner of my eye, man. I was like, "Are you doing Instagram poses before we go live?"
No. Like, be honest with you. Would you rather, real quick, because we got a funeral tomorrow. Would you rather let go of IG just to say TikTok or what? What would you give up?
I let go of IG 3 years ago, so that can continue to not be on my phone.
Man, tomorrow's the last day.
This is not a political show, but I will say what has been floating around is Biden has no plan to back up and not back up. What's the word? Enforce the ban. And Trump has also said that he's in favor of it not going away. So this will be very, very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Red Book is a thing. We're not even getting political on this. We're moving on. We got a lot of football to talk about. We got a lot of things to talk about.
And so little time.
And so little time. I do want to touch on one thing basketball real quick before we get too far along. John Morant is now Victor Wembanyama's father.
But it don't count.
Hey, man.
It don't count.
Victor, that is your son.
It don't count.
That was disgusting.
But it don't count.
It counts mentally.
It don't count.
It counts mentally. All right.
It's not in the book.
Let's get into it, man. So we got a lot to talk about. First of all, we want to get into some college football natty talk. I do want to say that either I was very incorrect when it came to our predictions or we were 50-50. I don't remember which. I've been insanely busy, but we'll figure out. Right now, it is a game, and for me, I'm going with Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame to win this game.
Well, you get opposite of me. I'm going Ohio State, man. Notre Dame's been playing really good football.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense has been playing really, really good football at forcing turnovers. But the way Will Howard's playing right now, the fact that it took like Texas to be able to triple team Jeremiah Smith and still wasn't able to beat him. The run game showed up with Quinshawn Judkins and Travion Henderson. Dog, are they able to bust open them gaps between Notre Dame?
Pause.
It's Ohio State all day, and you know my issues with Notre Dame. I like Marcus Freeman, but I'm not gonna pick Notre Dame to win no natty. So
the reason why I'm picking Notre Dame over Ohio State,
I gotta go with
an Ohio University, and I just pissed off some people. The reason why I'm going with Notre Dame over Ohio State is because when you look at Ohio State, their win came down to two plays. It came down to the screen pass right before halftime to Travion Henderson.
Right before halftime, yes.
And it came down to the strip sack on fourth down that they took back for a touchdown.
Yep.
Came down to two plays. Now, a lot of games come down to two plays, but my point is I don't think Ohio State is as far away from Notre Dame as people like to think they are. This Notre Dame defense has been playing lights out.
They have.
And they put up points on a top 5 defense in the country in Penn State and held their own just fine. So I'm very curious to see what this game is going to be. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. This is going to be settled by one score.
The thing about it with that Penn State game, when you look at it, they were able to do a good job as far as neutralizing the run game. But Ohio State doesn't really have to utilize the run game as much because you got those guys on the outside. When I think about what they did against Penn State, they were able to force turnovers. Will Howard and Ohio State has done a really good job of taking care of the ball. They haven't forced a lot of turnovers. And on the other side, Ohio State's defense has been one of the tops in the league. I'm not a big Leonard fan. I think his name's Riley Leonard.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of him. I can't say I don't trust him because I don't really know.
Will Howard has hit 10 interceptions on the year. And he has, let me see if I can find his fumbles. Fumbles, I don't know, but he's had at least 10 interceptions on the year, which Notre Dame, I feel like, can take advantage of. To me, I feel like this, like I said, I feel like these teams are closer than people can give them credit for. I really do feel like Notre Dame can put up if they. Oh, here's what has to happen. Ohio State has to force Riley Leonard to beat him with his arm. And then Notre Dame
I
have
don't think
to.
it's hard, which I don't think it's hard to do.
No, but also, I mean, that's what Texas did, and Riley Leonard actually did pretty well with it. So it's the running backs for Notre Dame have to show up. That is one of the that this is a running back duo versus a running back duo to me.
I can
Like
see that.
those Notre Dame backs are ridiculous. So to me, I feel like for Notre Dame to win, defense has to get off the field. I mean, this is gonna drive me insane because I'm saying the things that I can't stand what other people say. Limit big plays. You don't have to always get off the field on fourth down. Or sorry, you don't always have to get off the field every third down drive, but you have to limit big plays. You have to contain these running backs and force Will Howard to also beat them with his arm.
But he can't. But he's shown that he can't do that because he got 3 guys he couldn't be able to throw it down.
He can, but this Notre Dame passing defense is also pretty solid. I think this is going to be a defensive masterclass. I mean,
this is his thing. If Jeremiah Smith is able to go off at any point in any quarter, the game's over.
This game is going to be decided by 10 points or less.
We'll see. But I got and you got Notre Dame.
Oh yeah. So I'm kind of I'm still on Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame pulls it out, and I don't think it's going to be a lot. And I also like Marcus Freeman. I hate Ryan Day.
I don't really care for neither one of them. That's just me.
It's Marcus Freeman to me is a hard guy to hate. But
I
for
don't
me,
hate him. It's just I don't like Notre Dame.
That's fair. I don't like Notre Dame either, but I like Marcus Freeman. Like that. See, here's how I look at it. Like everybody has a player they love in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite players of all time that I've got to see play is Dame.
Yep.
Dame has never played on a team that I pull for, but I still like Dame. Yep. So let's keep moving, man. What else we got coming up? Yes, we have NFL divisional rounds. Let's recap some of the things that have already happened. I mean, Bills did what we thought they were going to do. The Vikings were.
Man, that when the Broncos scored in that first drive, I thought it was gonna be a good game.
Nope. Nope. To me, with Sam Darnold, he is who we thought he was, and we knew that. Somebody had the audacity to say that Justin Herbert is just Trevor Lawrence with shorter hair. No, he's not, and here's why. Trevor won his 4 turnover playoff game. Justin Herbert only put up 12 points. And CJ Stroud got to disappear again and ride on the back of this Texans defense.
Well, here's the thing. If we really want to talk about the Chargers and Texans game, like you got to give D'Amico his credit. They
Absolutely.
had a really good game plan. Derek Stingley was stingy and was able to make plays everywhere. Texans team, look, defensively, they got the bunch to be able to cause anybody trouble. It's the consistency that's been the problem because I can't overlook what happened on Christmas Day.
No, the consistency of their offense. And this is what I was trying to tell people in the offseason. CJ Stroud, now that before we get too far down this rabbit hole, I'm not just hating on CJ because he's a Texan. I also said that he would be one of the best prospects to come out of that quarterback class, and he was the most pro-ready. I still think if Richardson can get his act together, AR will be the best quarterback out of this class. He just has to get it together. But Stroud went on this worldwide media tour after a great rookie season and started talking all kinds of trash about how he's top 5 and everything. And I am all for talking trash as long as you back it up. And this man has disappeared for the back half of the season, including this playoff round. He hasn't played like a top 5 quarterback in weeks. It's been D'Amico and the defense that have been consistently bailing the Texans out. And that's not going to be able to happen against Kansas City. you have to put up points against Kansas City because the defense will not. Chiefs defense is not going to. Chiefs offense is not going to allow your defense to put up points.
And you know how Spags is going to be.
Spags is about to eat CJ alive.
Jeez.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. But like, we understand like what Spags is going to do, and we'll go deeper into it in a little bit. But to touch on with Justin Herbert, think about this: he's lost 2 playoff games in his career. Mm-hmm. This was the first one with Jim Harbaugh. Defense didn't play. Defense actually played pretty decent. Derwin James was everywhere.
Yeah, defense played well.
But at the end of the day, your boy, your man, Quentin Johnson, he is what he is.
What did I tell y'all?
He showed out. But somehow, but we got to have a conversation as far as like what Justin Herbert really is, where he ranks among the best quarterbacks in the league. Talent-wise, if we're just speaking just directly talent, he's a top 5 quarterback on talent alone. However, we're already past 5 years. Now the production's got to follow.
Mm-hmm.
So he like at this pace that he's going, unless he starts winning soon, because he's in the division with Patrick Mahomes. He's in an era with Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Lamar and Josh Allen. He's in this era. So when you take all of those things into an account, where is he going to fall within the food chain? Either he steps up the production shows and he does make those spectacular plays that a lot of people in mainstream media and everybody in the world want him to be, or
and we can see it,
and that, like we can see it, or he's just going to stay put. The production's not going to follow. He's just going to look real good, and you're going to have those casuals try to defend them as much as they can.
Justin Herbert is a great fantasy football quarterback. But if you look at it, I know I've been on this hill forever. QB, I don't think wins are a straight QB stat. I think it's a team stat. But it does rely a lot on the QB. We've been over this 1,000 times. I'm just saying my piece. Justin Herbert and in his Chargers tenure, the entire team is 41-38 with him as a starter. He is a top 5 quarterback statistically, playing like a top 15 quarterback with results of a top 15, top 16 quarterback. He slightly above mid. And all the Chargers fans were telling me during the for the Jaguars-Chargers game that it was our head coach. It was our head coach calling these plays. And your head coach was calling some awful plays. I'll give you that.
Yep. Brandon said he wasn't a good head coach.
No, but now it's a new head coach.
Yep.
Who's been to a Super Bowl, who's won a natty.
Everywhere he's been.
I can't stand Harbaugh.
Everywhere he goes.
Yeah, I can't stand Harbaugh, but I'll give credit where credit's due. He's been successful.
Yeah.
So what's the reason this time? I never thought I'd agree with Emmanuel Acho, but it might be time to have a conversation.
Yeah. But we'll see. Other game, Bills took care of business. I thought the Broncos had a chance to at least make it a good game. I was wrong because they pulled away in the second half, so nothing
King Henry retained his crown.
What else is new? Dog, if you're the Steelers, real quick, because I know we got to move on. I just want to touch on this. I think the Steelers, one, they should bring Russell Wilson back because they're not in a position to be able to get a quarterback within the draft because it's not a heavy draft class. I mean, you could try, but good luck to you. Mike Tomlin should come back, at least give it one more round. Arthur Smith is not a good coach.
I think you fire Arthur Smith.
He's not a good offensive coordinator, bro. I get the Steelers are based on tradition. They hate change. But at some point, your offense has to become modern. It's got to be modern. It's got to be modernized. And Arthur Smith is not that.
No,
got Arthur Smith, the hot topic of all NFL coordinators. He had King Henry. He had AJ Brown. He had Corey Davis at the time. And he had a very physical offensive line. You don't have a physical offensive line in Pittsburgh. You got to fix that. You got 2 really good running backs in the backfield, Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. Your receiving core you got a talented guy, but he is still immature at times, which is not new in the history of Mike Tomlin and the Steelers' wide receiving core. But you got to load up. You got to get more weapons. Your offensive line has got to get better. They got to focus on offense a lot this offseason.
The D-line's got to get better too. They have the young talent around them, but they don't seem offensively. They don't seem to know how to utilize it.
But dog, here's the thing: when you have a really good defense, but your offense is not putting up a lot of points, it adds more pressure to your defense, and the defense is gonna wear down. I believe they got the best defensive player in the NFL, in TJ Watt. But the only thing about it, when he gets double teamed, nobody else is showing up.
Right. Which, if you're getting double teamed, then you need to show up. Like you just need to beat your guy across from the ball. I completely agree. I don't think Tomlin leaves the Steelers this year. I don't think there's any coach.
They're not gonna fire Tomlin. I think he dips before they let him go.
Rooney ain't firing Tomlin.
Nah.
we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Packers looked abysmal. Commanders Buccaneers with very quietly
we'll talk about that one
game.
Real quick.
Yeah,
I know we're gonna move on. I'll say this about the Packers and Eagles. Look, Jalen Hurts, he didn't look his best.
No,
but
which is why I don't want Kellen Moore as my coach.
But I'm not gonna panic too much about it because the film did show, they was all clamped up to a certain degree, but Jalen got to get back in the rhythm and confidence where he said, like, all right, you want to guard AJ Brown 1-on-1, no safety help, boom. You want to guard Devontae Smith 1-on-1, no safety help, boom. You got to get back to that. But they was able to find a way to win. They're able to run the ball. Now, going against a matchup against the Rams, and we'll talk about that one a little bit later on, it's like the Rams are not going to do to the Vikings what they did to the Eagles. Nothing wrong with reading on the sideline if you're able to stay calm. Let me ask you this. Would you rather have AJ Brown reading on the sideline or temper tantrum George Pickens on the sideline?
Read all day. I don't care about that.
Then.
I mean,
then. So we don't have no issue.
No,
because one thing about it, AJ Brown will show up in big games even when he's not getting his targets. He's not going to go 0 catches in a big game to be able to keep you in contention for the division.
Which is why I don't think George Pickens is a true wide receiver one.
Talent-wise, he is.
But production-wise, he's not. Wide receiver one does not disappear on game day.
No, there's times where it's out of his control.
But they at least put I've never seen a number one wide receiver, and I might be wrong. Tammy, if you're listening, go fact check me, please. I might be wrong, but a true wide receiver one that is going to be a guaranteed Hall of Famer type situation. I have never seen them not put up any yards. I've seen George Pickens do that multiple times.
Yeah. But
so that's what I think. And maybe it's, the system, maybe it's a scheme. I don't know. I know the talent's there, but we got to move on.
A lot of that goes into that, but we'll see. I think they should run it back. But Coach Tomlin already said there's going to be changes. Hopefully the right changes are going to be made. But I think Russell Wilson needs to come back because he was playing good. He helped out in the passing game. He was able to run the ball a few times. It's just when you got your best receiver being covered, covered as much. Same thing with Pat Freiermuth and nobody else steps up. It makes it difficult, and the offensive line still got to improve. So I think they should run it back. The last one, Sam Darnold, he is what he is. The Rams are dangerous. There's nothing to really be surprised about that one. I think the only thing that kind of surprised it was just how the Rams were able to dominate the Minnesota Vikings in the front without having Aaron Donald. So shout out to their organization.
And also offensively.
Have that talent.
McVay versus Brian Flores is a chess match I'll watch any day. Yep. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I will say we'll touch on Buccaneers Commanders real quick too, because that leads us into the next round. Commanders look good. Passing defense look good.
That was such a good game. I hate it for Baker, but look, turnovers late in the ball game will kill you every time.
I want to say shout out to Liam Cohen and Dave Canales for helping revive this man's career. Baker's always had it, but it's nice to see the review. It's nice to see his career kind of revived almost.
All right, so we got to get into the division round, but real quick, would you take Baker Mayfield over Justin Herbert right now?
Would I take Baker Mayfield over Justin Herbert right now?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I would.
I think so too, but it's based on situation. but both guys actually got really good situations.
Right. I would take Baker's. I would take Baker's situation.
I would take Baker's as well.
You have a first ballot Hall of Famer as a wide receiver, and that doesn't hurt.
Let's talk division. So the 1 seeds, they went through their buys. Chiefs, Lions are ready to suit up. Chiefs are going to be the first team to play in the playoffs in about 3 o'clock my time, 4 o'clock Eastern. They're going against
4:30 Eastern.
4:30 Eastern. They're going against the Houston Texans. What chance do you give the Texans in this matchup?
As a Jaguars fan, 0. As a realist, very slim chance. And the reason why is because I'm not worried about, like I said earlier, for me, CJ Stroud has disappeared for the last 8 weeks of the season. On the back half of the season, he's been incredibly inconsistent. All I have to do is point out the Christmas Day game where they put up 2 points. And it wasn't even offense.
Shoot, man, the brightest spot, like in Houston, was Beyonce.
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, the Texans' offense has to show up, and against the Chiefs' defense, which has been arguably a top 5 defense in the NFL this year, and well over half the reason why they're sitting at 15-2. I don't think CJ Stroud has a good day. I think Spags is going to eat this man for breakfast. And I think no matter how great the Texans defense plays, Texans aren't getting 4 turnovers out of Mahomes.
No, they're not, unless it's strip sacks by either like Danielle Hunter or Will Anderson, and I don't see that happening. Okay, that might, because the Chiefs tackles are abysmal. We talked about the Steelers offensive line. Chiefs tackles have been god awful. You got Pro Bowlers inside, but you got Pro Bowlers inside, and you got non-Pro Bowlers on the outside. Make that make sense. But when I look at this matchup, I'm looking at the Texans. They have to find a way to get pressure on Mahomes, and you have to get him down. You can't just like get pressure on him, but no sacks occur from that. No sacks are being produced. Like the whole thing where somebody said like Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter was able to get a lot of pressure on Mahomes. Did you get him down? Where the sacks at? Because if you don't get that, you're not winning that game.
Right.
On the Texans offensive side, I mean, it's obvious you don't have a ton of weapons outside of Nico Collins. You need other guys to be able to step up, whether that's Brevin Jordan, whether that's Dalton Schultz, whether that's John Mechie, who fumbled last week, but like he's got to step up. They have to be able to run the ball effectively with Joe Mixon. And that's not a big surprise. Joe Mixon has had some success against the Chiefs defense in his time when he was with Cincinnati. So he's got to be able to like become like that for the Texans today. He's got to be able to do that. They got to find a way to run the ball effectively. The offensive line's got to play in unison and can't let CJ Stroud eat grass for the entirety of this game.
Which I think he's gonna. I think it's gonna be a long day for Houston.
Spags is gonna bring pressure. We already know this. He's gonna bring pressure.
Spags,
we know
Spags is gonna give everybody the blueprint for how, and it's that way. See, here's what I think is gonna happen. The Ravens already showed what you have to do to get CJ Stroud to disappear. There's going to be a lot of people who think that's a fluke. I think Spags is going to solidify what you have to do to make that offense insignificant. It's lock down Nico Collins, and it's bring pressure and make CJ react and think. That's it.
We'll see.
So I got the Chiefs winning.
I got the Chiefs winning without question.
Lions, Commanders.
You know my philosophy. Somebody in the AFC got to show me they could beat 1-5, Big Red, and 8-7. You got to show me you could do it. Other than that, I see the Chiefs going back to New Orleans in the Super Bowl.
I don't.
I do. Somebody got to show me they can beat them.
I don't. We'll get into that next week.
Yeah.
We'll get into that next week. Commanders, Lions. To me, go ahead. Because I led the last one off. You got this one.
This one's very tricky. The Lions should be on upset alert. For sure. For a simple reason. You don't have Aiden Hutchinson, and the rest of your secondary is kind of banged up. Outside of Kirby Joseph, who has been, I think, did he make the Pro Bowl or All Pro this year?
Yeah, I think he did.
Okay. Outside of that, but other than that, dog, their weaknesses. Look at the Bills game, and I'm not comparing Josh Allen to Jaden Daniels, but the style of play. Look at the Bills game. Look at the games that they have lost. It's been mobile QBs. It's been really good mobile QBs who know how to balance being in the pocket and throwing it on the money, as well as like breaking pressure and getting those key first downs. That's what Jaden Daniels might do a lot in this game tonight. Because I'm looking at the way that this kid is playing. The moment's not getting too big for him. Let's just go back to that Monday night game against Cincinnati in Cincinnati. He led it. They won because of him. He made every throw, and he got a wide receiver one in Scary Terry that's going to make those plays. And I'm thinking you might not have like Terrion Arnold or Charles Davis or Carlton Davis. Even if you do have him, I still don't see like Scary Terry not showing up. I see him showing up. Zach Ertz, he's experienced. So the weapons, they got to show up on their end. But what if like Cliff Kingsbury has some type of game plan to be able to open up the run game against what Aaron Glenn's going to give him in this matchup? Because I think if they're able to run the ball very, very effectively and make those key third downs and keep Detroit's offense off the field and knock them out of rhythm, Commanders might really have a serious chance of winning this game.
This game is going to come down to whoever controls the clock and punts less. That's it. Commanders have one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. And guess who's coming back this week?
Knuckles.
Yes. David Montgomery is back. So Sonic and Knuckles are back, which was this year the most, if not one of the top 3 most effective running back duos in the league.
Oh, it was number one without question. Like
so,
Sonic, Jahmyr Gibbs was balling when Knuckles went out.
So now you've got your Thunder and Lightning coming back.
Yep.
Sonic and Knuckles are back against one of the worst run defenses in the league. Ben Johnson knows this. And the reason why I think the reason why I'm taking the Lions in this is an audition tape for Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson.
Oh, no, this ain't no audition tape. Aaron Glenn already passed his audition.
I'm saying this is going to continue to solidify these roles for these coaches.
Yep.
These are more audition tapes. Like, we know how to put, like, no, that's a bad example. But like, we already know they're going to get hired. We know this.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of who. They understand that if they hire, if they do better, they get to really pick where they want to go. They could potentially, put themselves in a scenario to where they can ask for more money. They can say, hey, 49ers DC's getting paid this stupid amount of money. I want that. This is why. Here's everything I've done. That's what I think this is what I think it's going to be for Ben Johnson and for Aaron Glenn. Not only is it going to be, they want to win, obviously, because this is going to be their last season in Detroit. It'd be great to bring a Super Bowl to a city that's never had one before. But on top of that, leverage.
Yep.
Leverage.
And the other thing is, and because we got to move on to the Rams and Eagles. With this game, obviously the Lions have to win. Like, there's more pressure on the Lions than there is on the Commanders. Commanders ain't got nothing to lose. That's what makes them dangerous. They have nothing to lose. Nobody expected them to make this far. Nobody expects them to win this game. I don't expect them to win this game, but I won't be surprised if they do, because like Jay Daniels, he ain't gonna give nothing to nobody. Like the Commanders could really pull this off based on just how they're built. And again, the offensive line is not great. They don't have a ton of weapons outside of Scary Terry. But if them guys just show up and the Lions don't put them down and they gain confidence early, this game can be very dangerous for Detroit, and the pressure can rise up. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they find a way to keep them left hands down. The Lions got to find a way to keep them left hands down. So we'll see. But we got to move on. We got to move on to Philly because So the situation that we already know, there's going to be some weather in Philadelphia during that week. It's going to be cold. It's supposed to be raining. This, that, and the third.
Bro, it might snow down here in Savannah.
Yeah, it's going to snow down here in Alabama on Tuesday. That's already been kind of confirmed. But anyway, Matthew Stafford, he's been in cold weather situations even back when he was in Detroit. He hasn't had his best stats. But other than that, a run game follows everywhere. And we remember the last time that these two teams met. I think Saquon Barkley had over 150 something yards rushing in that game. He had two like 40 plus yard touchdown runs, possibly like 50, 60 plus yards.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like I think the Eagles to me should dominate this game because as good as the Rams defensive line played against the Minnesota Vikings is not the Eagles offensive line. And I expect Jalen Hurts to play a lot better in the quarterback position where he's going to feed A.J. Brown. He's going to feed Devontae Smith. He's going to feed Jahan Dotson. He's going to feed Dallas Goedert. I see that happening, and they're going to do a really good job of defending the front seven of the Rams. But more so than not, the secondary of the Rams is not that good. They're just utilizing and taking advantage of the opportunities that their front seven is going to give them. And if they don't have that many opportunities, A.J. Brown's going to feast, and they should. So I got the Eagles winning. It should be dominant, but because Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay are known for like making a lot of noise and handling a lot of business and like keeping things there, it's going to be a close game. But to me, it really shouldn't.
This is going to be a shootout, and I think the Rams upset the Eagles, if we're being honest. I see with what you're saying and the thing about, how you're right. The Eagles offensive line should be able to handle the Rams front seven. It's one of the best offensive lines of football. But taking advantage of that requires competency from Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts. And that has been questionable most of the season. So I'm very, very curious kind of to see how this plays out. But with McVay always finds a way to turn it on in the playoffs. Always finds a way to turn it on in the playoffs. So I got the Rams beating the Eagles in this one. I think the Rams upset them. I just don't think the Eagles offense is going to be as effective as they need to be in a shootout with arguably one of the better quarterbacks in the league.
But dog, I ain't even mentioned the Eagles defense. That front seven against the Rams front seven, it like both like the Rams front can create holes to be able to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles front can close them holes to be able to stop the run and get pressure on the quarterback. So they're deep on that one. Jalen Carter's playing really good football. Jordan Davis is playing really good football. Now, I know it hurts them to lose to Kobe Dean for the rest of the playoffs, but Zach Bond is still back there. That secondary has been playing lights out. Quinyon Mitchell has been like he's going to win the defensive rookie of the year, and most likely going to get lined up with Puka Nacua. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how like Sean McVay is going to move them jokers around along with Cooper Kupp, because we have a chance to see Cooper Kupp versus Cooper DeJean.
Get some white on white violence right there.
And both named Cooper. So, like, it's very going to be interesting. I'm excited to see this matchup tomorrow. But again, I'm going Eagles because, like, they're my Super Bowl pick, and I think they're the better team. Now let's get to the main event.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get down to the main event. And this is the one that everybody has been waiting for.
I think whoever wins the Bills-Ravens game,
they got to go against Mahomes in the next round. They got to go to Kansas City.
Whoever wins the Bills-Ravens game is going to be representing the AFC in the Super Bowl this year.
That's you. I don't see that because, again, neither one have shown me that they can beat 1-5.
But here's my
Josh
thing.
Allen a little bit.
Josh Allen has shown it a little bit. Joe Brady has helped revive Josh Allen's career.
Yep. Derrick Henry has really helped out and take Lamar Jackson and company to another level.
I think that the Ravens and Bills are more complete teams than the Chiefs right now, which is why I think whoever wins this game will beat the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl.
Dog, neither one they showed me that they could put down the Undertaker. I call Patrick Mahomes the Undertaker.
Here's what I think is going to happen. I think the Bills beat the Ravens. And I think the Bills beat the Chiefs. And I think we have a I'm going to go ahead and call it now. I think we have a Lions-Bills Super Bowl.
I'm going Lamar Jackson wins this game tonight. I'm going with the Ravens, but it ain't because of Lamar Jackson. It's because of King Henry. Dog, there are three teams that King Henry, the story. I understand the headline is Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson, but the story in the biggest headline after that game is going to be all hail the King. because if you look at his numbers after he cut his dreads, and I'm thinking to myself, you do not cut your dreadlock powers.
Why I was just about to say it. Why do you remove the dreadlock powers?
But for some reason, and he got smaller dreads. He still got dreads, but he ain't the long one. But for some odd reason, once he cut them dreads, he started looking faster, more agile. And I'm thinking to myself, that ain't good for your opponents. That ain't good for your opponents. But there's 3 teams that this Joker loves playing against in his career that's making him in a Hall of Fame running back. Your Jags, the Texans, and the Bills. Off the rip. He loves going against them teams. And also, I would add the Ravens on there, but he's on the Ravens team now. So, but either way, Derrick Henry, we remember the last few times back when he was a back when he was a Titan and as a Raven, he's dominating the Bills. The first play of the Bills matchup this year, boom. Back when he was a Titan, stiff arm Josh Norman and hit that gap to send it all the way on Monday night. The Bills cannot worry. The Bills obviously had to worry about Lamar Jackson defensively. We understand that. But
I had almost forgotten about that play.
And he's the reason I'm giving the Ravens this game, because they got King Henry now. If it was just Lamar Jackson, I say this is an even playing field. The common denominator is not Lamar. It ain't Josh. It's the King. Because the King has dominated Sean McDermott in that defense for years.
To me, I don't think you can sleep on James Cook either. I'm not saying they're the same. I'm not saying they're the same back. But you also have to look at the dual threat ability. These are 2 of the premier dual threat quarterbacks in the league, which Lamar is. I think Lamar wins MVP. I think Lamar is the best player in the league right now. No questions about it.
Not an argument for me.
But I think
you can make a good case for like Josh Allen. I know Bills Mafia does.
But I think the Ravens are an easier team to stop than the Bills. And here's why.
I'm listening.
You force Lamar to drop back and beat you with his arm.
But
that's how the Chiefs.
Now the question.
That's how the Chiefs beat him last year.
Now this game is going to be in Buffalo. It's going to be cold. Not supposed to be snowing, but it's going to be cold.
No, and I don't think Zay Flowers is playing either.
Too, so there's no big difference. I remember here. Okay, now I want to take this into another level. I want to know what are going to be the narratives after this game. I'm gonna start with Lamar first. Lamar wins this game. He proves that he proves that he's going to be the second best quarterback in the NFL behind Patrick Mahomes. Because for years I could never put Lamar over Josh Allen. I could only put him neck and neck because Josh Allen beat him in the playoffs back in 2021. And that's why I couldn't do it, because like when I go head-to-head matchup, Josh beat Lamar, and Lamar was one of the reasons why they did not win that playoff game. That was simple. Lamar gets it done tomorrow night. Yeah, he's the second best quarterback he's the second best quarterback in the league.
To me,
for Josh Allen on that narrative, if he loses, there's not really much, because like a lot of people are going to use like he didn't have a ton of weapons. Sean McDermott let him down. The defense let him down again. They're going to give him a pass.
Which at that point now the Bills have less to lose than the Ravens do.
Oh, without question, because Lamar Jackson about to win the 3rd MVP. There's more pressure on Lamar Jackson this whole playoffs than
which
anybody.
Is what makes the Bills dangerous, for the same reason we were talking about the Lions and the Commanders, and the Lions potentially being on upset watch.
Yeah. Now let's flip it over. If Josh Allen wins this game, what does that mean for Josh Allen?
It's Josh versus Mahomes again.
Yeah. But but like I was gonna say that, but I was gonna say like this. Now it's back to the pressure being on Josh. Can you finally knock him out? Can you finally put the Undertaker down? Can you finally conquer your demon? That's where the pressure is gonna mount for this game. For Lamar Jackson, he's gonna take a major hit. His legacy, his reputation. Now, outside of the Ravens. Outside of the Ravens culture, I get all that, but in reality, we're gonna look at Lamar Jackson said he failed in the playoffs once again.
I think the Bills can beat the Ravens, because I think the Ravens are easier to beat than the Bills are. if you force Lamar to throw it, if you force him to, and I don't think Zay Flowers is playing, so you're already losing his number one receiver. Mark Andrews hasn't been the same this year as he's been the last couple of years. Isaiah Likely, the emergence kind of helped with that. But again, I think the Bills have the personnel to stop Lamar and Derrick, not stop, but contain Lamar and Derrick Henry.
We'll see.
I don't.
I got Lamar. I got Derrick Henry in the race.
I want to be very clear. You're not stopping Lamar or Derrick Henry.
You're not.
But you can contain them. And I think the Bills have the ability and the personnel to do that. I think with Joe Brady as OC, I am cautiously optimistic for the Bills. However, I'll say it again. Whoever wins this game is beating the Chiefs.
I ain't going to.
So that's where I'm at with it.
I can't do it.
No, we'll see what happens.
Somebody got to show.
All right, man. What else we got?
That's basically it.
We got some coaching stuff I want to get into a little bit as well.
Yeah.
There's been a coaching carousel. There's been some rumors. There's been all kinds of things.
I'm gonna let you introduce that and explain the details, and I'll just react to it.
So, Gerard Mayo got fired after one season, and Mike Vrabel got hired a week within the new coaching search, which to me screams predetermined. They knew this was happening.
Yeah.
I don't think
they were wasting everybody's time.
I don't think Gerard knew, but I think Kraft knew what he wanted. I think they checked the Rooney Rule box.
That's what it's about. That's why, dog. I was so happy when Aaron Glenn turned down that Patriot.
Like he knew what it was.
Thank you.
He knew what it was. He knew exactly what it was. And to me, a lot of people, and I think a lot of owners do it. Like, to me, I think us interviewing, is it Patrick Graham? He was the Raiders DC.
Yeah.
I think us interviewing him was part of checking that box too. Because I don't think he's ready to be a head coach yet. Personally, as someone who is a fan of the game and has never played the game outside of the high school level and is just, hanging out with a buddy talking about sports, I don't know if he's ready to be a head coach yet. So I think that might have been checking the box. And I mean, you see it every year, guys taking interviews that you kind of question a little bit. And it's like, what are you doing? One thing I appreciate about what the Jaguars are doing is they are kicking the tires on every single car in the lot. I think the only guy we haven't requested to interview is Joe Brady. We've interviewed Ben Johnson, interviewed Liam Cohen, interviewed Brian Flores, interviewed Kellen Moore. We've interviewed Patrick Graham. We've interviewed who else we interviewed? Aaron Glenn. We've interviewed Robert Saleh. We've interviewed a lot of coaches. So Spagnuolo even. We're kicking the tires on every car in the lot to see if we can get one to work. And I think that's smart. Now, Patriots hiring Vrabel, we all kind of knew was coming. That's homecoming. That's fine. Doesn't shock me at all. I don't think any of their hirings have been announced yet, but there's talks about Saleh potentially getting paid to be the highest defensive coordinator ever in San Francisco. Sounds like Shanahan's tired of blowing playoff leads. That's going to hurt my Falcons friends. That might hurt Heavy a little bit too. Love you guys, but I mean, that's what happens. There's rumors that Ben Johnson. So right now, all the rumors I'm seeing and all the rumors I'm hearing, yes, there's that too. There's always Coach Prime potentially coming to coach the Cowboys, which will.
Oh God, does not happen.
It's not going to. It's absolutely not going to, because Jerry's not going to be able to tell Dion what to do, and Jerry doesn't like that. Jerry hasn't, played football since Vietnam, and still thinks he can run the game the exact same way. Now, what? Why are you blocking McCarthy from interviewing when you know you're not going to hire him back?
No, he look. It is what it is. He got power. He got control. He got the influence.
You're not going to tell me how to run my team. I can do what I want.
Look, one thing I will say, when Troy Aikman came out and said, like, it's not what's the word he used? Commendable. It's not like, it's not like a fancy job or something or some sort.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with him because it's a circus down there. It's a circus in Dallas. People, it's a really good job. A lot of people should be in favor of doing this job. A lot of people should want to do this job, and I'm like, why? You're gonna get undermined. You will not have complete control. And people think Prime about to go in there. Here's the reason why. Jerry Jones loves Deion Sanders. I do believe that. I'm not gonna take nothing away. But you love him with a personal relationship, not as the head coach, because he knows that his his popularity will be questioned. Well, Jerry's not popular, but like you kind of get what I'm about to say.
Sorry, I'm laughing at something. I knew they hired. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's. I'm praying for God, like Prime just stay.
It's not going to happen because Deion.
I'm hoping it don't. And people throwing out these analogies. I'm like, you trade Dak Prescott, you got a whole bunch of money to eat, and the Titans ain't gonna just give it up.
No, and they're not going to, because the Cowboys would have to eat $100 million in cap, and they're not going to do that. And Dak's not going to restructure guaranteed money. That's stupid. Why would you do that? To me, what I think is going to happen, Deion is not going to go to Dallas. Deion wants to coach Shador or Shiloh. It's not going to happen. He would have to go to Tennessee or New York, and neither one of those guys is getting rid of their head coach yet. So Deion's not coming away from Colorado this year. The Cowboys are currently set to interview Robert Saleh and Leslie Frazier. Jerry's going to do what Jerry always does. He's going to bring in a coach that hasn't coached in a few years to do it again. And I think they've requested to interview Kellen Moore, which, to his credit, did give Dak his best career season. Now, to me, it's Leslie Frazier hasn't been a head coach, I think, in almost 10 years. He was a head coach of the Vikings for 3 years, and then he's been assistants for a while. To me, Dallas is doing what Dallas always does. They're not going to hire Deion. McCarthy might get the Bears job because apparently McCarthy really wants the Bears job. Aaron Glenn is mainly interested in New York. Rumors I'm hearing around Ben Johnson are Ben is interested in the Jags, the Raiders, and the Bears. And that Cohen is also a heavy favorite to land the Jaguars job. Saleh I don't think Saleh's the favorite to win any job right now. I think he's potentially just going to go back to San Francisco and be a DC, which is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
But ideal world for me, 4 coaches I want at this point: Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, Aaron Glenn, Brian Flores. Because from everything that is being reported is Flores has grown massively from his stint in Miami.
Well, obviously, you either learn or you don't.
It's adapt or die, and he's still in the league, so he's clearly adapted and gotten better. So I respect it. And there are offensive coordinator candidates who I think we request interview. If we hire a defensive coordinator, I just think that we're going the offensive coordinator route because Trevor has come out and said that's what he wants. So just a lot of rumors going around there. Nobody really knows anything, and we're not going to have anything else set in stone because half the coaches are in the playoffs right now. Nothing's going to be set for another week or two. So we'll see, man. All right, you got anything else you want to get into?
Nah.
Let's do it. Well, thank you guys. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in live. If you're watching live, always a good time. Make sure to miss any comments in the chat.
Was there any comments in the chat?
Not this time. No, we'll be fine. The ones who've been tuning in to comment, thank you. We appreciate it. Everybody who's listening to this back, find us live. This is your time to chime in, ask questions, we'll give you a best, honest answer you possibly can. Questions, comments, concerns is what we're here for. If you liked the show, you know what to do. Rate 5 stars whatever platform you listen to. If you want to see our lovely faces, go back and watch it on YouTube at 2 Deuces of Sports News at YouTube, or TDSN Pod. It's TDSN Pod on YouTube. That's right. I thought so. Go check us out over there. We're on Twitter at TDSN Pod. Follow us, interact with us over there. Also rate 5 stars whatever platform you listen to. I'd talk about the TikTok, but I don't know what the heck's going to happen to it in the next few weeks, so we'll see what happens there. But you will find us on YouTube. We might start doing YouTube shorts instead of TikToks. I don't know. We'll see. But like I said, if you like the show, rate 5 stars for a podcast platform you listen to. If you show us proof of the 5-star rating, you get a shout out at the end of the show, as well as shows that we also think you'll enjoy. Or if you retweet the show, you get a shout out at the end of the show as well. If you didn't like the show, we appreciate your time. About the 45, 50-ish minutes that we gave you. We can't give it back. we won't, but let's treat it like a bad date. It's not us, it's you. It's not you, it's us. It is what it is. We're cool. We thank you for all of it. Shout outs, like I said, at the end of the show. If you like our show, go check out Jim over Fan of the Van, Brandon over 1420 Sports, Aaron at Brutal Legato Sports, Darian over at Chill Takes, guys at IIP Radio, E-Man over at Average Joe Sports. Always go check out Sports After Dark. Playoff time is always a good time for it. It's the general chaos with basketball season coming up. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some watch parties on it too, so it's going to be a good time. If you're a wrestling fan, go check out John at Wrestling Fan Insight. And if you're gambling, don't bet the house. Gamble responsibly. Go listen to Nate's Daily Wager. Also check out the Steel and Teal show that Jim and I do. Thank you. And as always, we'll see you next time.
Peace.